It's important too to know that I have done a jillion dumbbell presses in my career, and so therefore, even if I don't use dumbbells for a while, that neurologic adaptation phase that can sometimes take up to, like, I think it's 5 weeks in brand new lifters, because I've done so many dumbbell presses. The first set, that neurologic adaptation phase is done, and I'm
Right.
right back at it again. Somebody else, that hasn't done as much dumbbell work, or if they've never used dumbbells before, you're right, that could be a totally different scenario where that actually aggravates a little bit of a pain or an injury or something like that. But, because I'm so well versed in using dumbbells, like you said, my dumbbell press looks very odd, because with my scoliosis and everything, this elbow is a little bit closer to my body than this elbow. Usually one side is a little bit lower than the other side, and even when I lock out, a lot of times with my scoliosis, I'm locked out. One arm is longer and one dumbbell is higher than the other one. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But I think it's that freedom that kind of allowed my little injury to move to the point, or it could be like, we're talking millimeters, right? Maybe even fractions of a millimeter. I can just move things a little bit to where it doesn't aggravate that pain, just
Interesting.
the central nervous system commands of what it is that I don't even think about. You know what I mean? My brain doesn't even know it's happening, but my body can move things such that, we're talking millimeters where I don't get that issue with that pain.
So that could be a pro right there, right? Like if you're always using machines, and for the listeners, please note, I'm not saying machines are bad and dumbbells are better than machine, because that people might start thinking that, at least maybe some of the younger listeners, but every tool will have its place depending on the body, the goal, all that good stuff. But that sounds like it definitely is a pro in your situation in that moment in time when you were using it. Right.
Yep.
And I think that's important to note, because there's always these debates where it's like dumbbells versus barbells, machines versus, and it's like, well, for who and what's the goal and all that good stuff.
Exactly. I mean, you're talking about a ton of different sets of variables, from the lifter all the way to the tool. That is, and trust me, it's not like I knew that, it was kind of like, well, you know what, it doesn't matter what the load is on the barbell, I can't do it, it causes that pain. So then it was like, well, because I work out at home, I don't have infinite machines and hammer strength presses and Smith bars, and all this kind of stuff. I've got cables and I've got dumbbells, and so I'm looking at my dumbbells. I'm like, hey, let's try, it's a light set of dumbbells, no pain at all, and then I just kind of went from there. So a lot of it is just kind of trial and error, and me knowing, okay, well, I've got to get this volume on my chest, my pectorals and my anterior delts. How can I do that? And here's my tools that I have available to me in the what I call the Billy Funk Memorial Gym, my former training partner, God rest his soul. Right. You mentioned injuries. Luckily, the rib thing has been gone, and at least at bay now for a while. And the way that I managed that was, I love to squat and I love to deadlift. I squat 3 times a week at a minimum.